We'll be back from that short commercial break, and thank you for sticking with us. Now, as today ends, the Ugandan government will have registered gross losses amounting to over 600 million shillings since yesterday, as the Ministry of Internal Affairs moved an effect on comprehensive passport system maintenance and upgrade for service efficiency. Let's have a look.
In a space of just 2 days, Uganda, through the Ministry of Internal Affairs, is standing a loss of up to 600 million from domestic revenue on ordinary passport issuance, as the ministry implements a system upgrade and maintenance, leaving out 6,000 beneficiaries affected both locally and in the diaspora.
In the space of just 2 days, Uganda, through the Ministry of Internal Affairs, will have lost over 600 million from domestic revenue on ordinary passport issuance, as the ministry implements a system upgrade and maintenance, leaving out over 6,000 beneficiaries affected both locally and in the diaspora. After lockdown, we were working on 1,800 people, but because of Uganda's economic collapse, we declined. But these 2 days, approximately 600 people will be affected in the process of upgrade system.
From years back, the ministry has been facing a lot of challenges in service delivery that has inspired the transition for better performance and effectively tap into the ever-growing demand for securities such as passports, more so with the expansive labor externalization market.
COVID accumulated passports here because of the various lockdowns. While the country was under lockdown, inadvertently we did not lock down the passport application portal, so people continued applying, and the net effect of that was that there were too many people in the system. We were struggling with a cleanup because technology cannot easily be beaten. So when we talk of delays, we have significantly reduced and moved from recovered from COVID effects. While our promise had been a week, COVID took us back and the passport was taking about 30 days. But now we are back to 9 days.
Not only the government will have incurred damage between yesterday and today, the labor externalization market, job seekers, companies have been constrained as their operations highly depend on services from the Ministry of Internal Affairs.
Well, of course there will be, but I don't have the statistics of how many are applying from our side. But either way, we will have to be inconvenienced because, there's no shortcut. You must have a passport for one to travel.
The Ministry of Internal Affairs is to carry out a comprehensive passport system upgrade and maintenance on Thursday, 19th, 2023, and Friday, 20th, January 2023, in order to improve its effectiveness and efficiency. This upgrade will affect all passport services, including passport applications, scheduling appointments, enrollment for interviews, printing and collection, and our service centers and offices in Kampala at the headquarters, Chambogo, that's where we issue passports, our offices in the regions of Mbarara, Mbale, and Gulu, as well as our missions abroad. This is Washington, London, Ottawa, Copenhagen, Pretoria, and Abu Dhabi. All these will be shut down on Thursday and Friday for systems upgrade.
As the 2-day system upgrade and maintenance aims to remedy the previously consistent challenges, majority Ugandans are still undocumented, especially when it comes to securities such as passports compared to national identity cards. And this shall be a crucial concern going forward. Ivan Tibenkana, Samuel Chirimunda, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Now, away from that, after 8 years of no execution, Uganda has ended its agreement with a Chinese firm and switched to a Turkish company. However, despite Uganda Railways Corporation readiness to carry out the project, the country's citizens are unsure of its financial viability at this time of fear and feared that they would face the same fate in Kenya. By lowering travel time between Kampala and Nairobi, the standard gauge railway aims to increase employment opportunities while providing freight and passenger transportation services that are globally competitive. However, Kenya's standard gauge rally was halted due to financial constraints, which left China worried that without the link-up, the Ugandan plan won't be financially sustainable. Kenya has so far built 730 kilometers of track between Mombasa, a port city, and Naivasha, a city located about 200 kilometers from the Ugandan border, although it is unclear whether the track will reach Uganda.
Now, as a country, after revamping the railway, the government will come up with statutory instruments for heavy cargoes not to be on our roads. That will be done. But you can't do it now because the road is not, well, let's make it, the road is operational, revamped properly, and very operational.
Despite Uganda's funding challenges, the Uganda Railway Corporation is prepared to begin the construction of the most expensive infrastructure.
This funding has been approved, so to speak. So that other fear of the contracts is not there really. So we cannot plan for that one.
Attorney General asserts that the contract was terminated because it was unable to secure the funding. Uganda, on the other hand, is still eager to execute a contract for the standard gauge railway's construction after being particularly pleased by the work of a Turkish company, Yapi Makezi, did in Tanzania, a nearby country.
Funding for it could not be found. Yes. Well, what we are learning lessons from past mistakes, and we believe that we will do better in future. No, I do not. I cannot quite. You cannot have what do you call it, a universal answer to contracts.
Okay.
Contracts are specific, and you need to be discussing them with their specific terms. Otherwise, if you give a blanket answer, it becomes difficult to think. So it's not every negotiation has its own intricacies and its own challenges, and you have to look at the obtaining circumstances at any given time, what it is that you're looking for, what the challenges are the obtaining at the time. So you cannot look at all contracts are not in a universal space. Yes, you should always anticipate a fair negotiation, a very good negotiation. Yes.
Frustrated with the lack of progress with China, Exim Bank, President Yoweri Museveni urged his staff last year to open up standard gauge railway financing to the world's financial capitals, with London and the UK Export Finance as the first call in September 2022. Ronah, Nahabwe, Smart 24 TV, Business Today. Now, away from that, according to the Uganda National Oil Company Limited, there are many opportunities in the oil and gas industry that would contribute significantly to the economic development of the country. I was fortunate enough to meet Sarah Wanange, the head of corporate affairs. Together, we were able to witness how the discovery of oil is actually a blessing for a developing country like Uganda. Hello there, you're welcome to Coffee Court. My name is Ronah Nahabwe with Sarah Wanange, the Corporate Affairs Officer at Uganda National Oil Company. Our topic today is very important because we would like to look at what has shaped the 2022's performance in the oil and gas sector. The oil and gas sector is very important for any country because it provides millions of jobs, lower energy costs, and also energy security. Sarah, you're welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here again, and greetings for the new year from me, from UNOC.
Thank you. So I'd like us to start from a light note. What has shaped the oil and gas sector for the last year?
2022 was a very good year because right from the beginning, if you remember, is when we signed the long-awaited financial investment decision. That was February 1st, 2022. And my God, I mean, that's what was the trigger that unlocked everything to start, because after signing that financial investment decision, then the companies, should I say, Total and CNOOC, including Uganda government through UNOC, made the decision to actually invest that close to $8 billion in order for works to start, construction works. So for someone who had been waiting for maybe 12 to 16 years, thinking this thing will never come, 2022 was the year, because then everything started. We had the launch, or you could say the actual event in Kololo, and soon after that, all the companies, that is the international oil companies, Total Energies and Sinok, all went down to the Alberta and Graben and started excavation. Excavation work started, ground clearing. This was for the central processing plant. And so there was a beehive of activities. Ugandans had invested and they were waiting. And there were those businesses ring-fenced strictly for Ugandans, like crane hire, clearing and forwarding, the human resource, environmental. So people got jobs, people got businesses. They awarded the tier 1 contracts, and the tier 1 contractors then took on the tier 2, who were Ugandan companies in transportation and everything. So it really was a good year. And if you had asked me this same question for 2020, 2021, I wouldn't have an answer for you, because you remember we were still lying in abeyance. But last year, then everything happened, the trigger happened, and look where we are. A lot is going on down there. If you go there, just even a week's difference, you will find something changed since February 1st last year.
Okay. So I'd like to look at your shareholdings. If I'm not mistaken, they should be 15%, of which you are going to clarify. But I would like to know how you intend to expand them.
Okay, now, because by the time we get to that level which we are at, that we have a 15% share as UNOC on behalf of government, a lot of discussions have been done and power sharing agreements signed, and but probably what you want to understand, most people think that then 15% is very little. What they fail to understand is that in addition, 15% only comes actually at the tail end. The first thing we get as a country, because this resource is best here, are royalties. There's a percentage of royalties that is given to the country. The resource is yours. Aside, 15% is just the equity share, the amount of money we will invest. That is what is 15. That's what we could afford. That's what we want to put in. But doesn't mean that's all it's not what we shall get. It's what we are putting in. What we are getting is, first we get royalties, the resources there. When this kind of money comes into our country, taxes are inevitable, and in huge amounts. We get taxes. We then get, when you sell the crude, you get the money for the crude, but also you make profits. There is profit oil given to that country. We get our profit oil. So when you look at all these things adding up, the sell price of a barrel, the profit oil, because when we sell, you make a profit, and then the other company will get dividends, okay? Then the taxes, because you operate in this country. Then the royalties, because this country owns the resource. And then what accrues out of your 15% you put in. When you put in money, you also get out some money. So, but when you add that all up, you're looking at Uganda earning close to 70% per barrel. Yeah. So when people see this 15, it's our equity contribution. But if you're to talk about what does Uganda earn per barrel from our resource, it's close to 70% on each barrel goes directly into our fund as Uganda.
Okay. When you speak of the investment, do we have any marketing strategy on how you have tried to market the resources? You mentioned something that every dollar invested, there is 10.
Yes, we have a strategy. We have strategies, but probably let me take you back. This is a new field, right, for Uganda, and so our capacity has to grow. But what we have done, or what actually happens, that's why we have joint venture partners working with us, the Total Energies, the Sinop, people who have done this for a living. Now, in all the agreements signed, even if it's like the joint venture partner and the refinery, whatever agreements are signed, it's always very clear in there that among the many things they need to fulfill, one of the key things they need to do is to market this resource on international scenes, because you can't beat Total. They've been at this for a while, so you have to engrave it in your agreements that when the resource comes, the onus is on them, those who have done it before, to actually market. So yes, the resource and the crude or the product will be marketed because we enshrine it right at the beginning in the agreements we enter into with our joint venture partners.
What is new with the local content and ensuring that the state has equal participation? And by this I mean subcontractors, the linkages involved. What is new? Certain Ugandans, of course, assume this is oil and gas, this is for the Chinese, the French. How are you going to benefit? Of course. And I'm looking at maybe away even beyond linkages. How are these jobs attainable?
Okay, you've asked me what is new. There's so much going on, but let me start from the end. 2 weeks ago, we launched what we call the Albertine Graben, the Albertine Graben Agriculture Development Program. I'm starting at the end. That is a program because we have realized with all this business going on, a lot of people have gone into the Albertine Graben, the construction is going on, a lot of contractors, people. It's an influx of people down there, right? Food security was very important. But also, you want the communities, the local communities, to tap into that food, to be providers, to also make an income. So food security and also revenue for the local communities is important. So what we did, we have an MOU with Stanbic under their Stanbic Incubator program. The Stanbic Incubator program basically is teaching local communities, local content, how to tap into the opportunities in the oil and gas. So 2 weeks ago, working with Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom, because they're the ones who got these people, they identified local farmer groups. Local farmer groups were put together from 15 sub-counties. They brought the local farmer group representatives together. The pilot has 40 people, and UNOC is supporting this, working with Stanbic Incubator, who have the skill. They have taken on the contractor, or you can call it the service provider, who's teaching these people high-end urban farming techniques, quality, so that one, increase the food security, but two, tap into, providing food to those camps, to all the food requirements, so that these locals now can also be able to tap into there. You asked me what are the benefits, local content, what is new? That is new, and it is the buzz right now in the Albertine, because when this one does very well, those people go back, they train others. This is what we learned. You don't need, it's called urban farming because the way they are training them, you don't need a lot of land. It can be in your backyard, it can be in tins, zip tires, but they teach you how to use less space for so much, and then you do it so well, and then they even buy it from you to give it to the camps, so they'll make money out of it. They'll earn a skill that will be useful even beyond oil and gas. So the local content, what we call national content, I think, whatever you choose to call it, is growing and is big because we are seeing our people benefiting. That's agriculture. I don't know where we stopped the last time we talked, but did I not tell you that we had worked with all the districts, 10 of them along the pipeline, and together with their local leaders, as in the district LC5s, each district fielded students who UNOC is supporting and paying for school fees. They were taken to UPIC, the Technical Institute in Chigumba. They've been trained now at international levels of welding, international level of metal fabrication, pipe work, because still we are getting our people in those districts trained and readied for the pipeline construction, so that our our students or what? Our children can benefit from this. That's all local content. Now, that is a skill that will live beyond ECOP really.
Okay.
Yeah, because you have the certification. So there's a lot happening on national content. We have, since we talked, I think had 3 supplier development workshops. What do we do with these supplier development workshops? There are people who want to supply, product to these contractors. But because these contractors have stringent guidelines on quality, on safety, and so we have continuously done supplier workshops to show them how to do bids, how to log in, and how to, So we have since, I think, had 3 since we talked, and those are also going very well, because now those are for the contractor. Whatever tier, you will still make some money, because these big tiers, the top number ones, they come and then subcontract people who subcontract. So we were readying our people, and people are ready. And if you go to PAL now and to ask for a list of the local companies that have so far been given jobs, contracts, it's impressive.
Of course, all this momentum was set in February 2022 when joint venture partners, that is Total Energies and Sinok, signed the final investment decision for the development of resources in Kingfisher and Tilenga project. Speaking of ECOP, I'm very interested to know the status of ECOP, because we have seen, apart from the environmental aspect of it, people saying that Britain is going to pull out. So what is the state of ECOP right now?
We don't know about those pulling out. What we know, we're on track, because you recall the in thing after the FID was compensate people and move people. So that is what is happening, because you cannot start constructing the pipeline before people have moved. So the whole of last year, the 10 districts, they've been working on compensating people and moving people. And as I think we speak now, that could have reached, I don't know the percentage, maybe 70% or I don't have the right figure, right? But it's not yet 100%, because you can only start building when you have moved everybody. So, and that has been going very well. Now, I know there were newspaper, social media clips on people pulling out, and those. Well, that's not unusual. And in fact, what we saw, the ones who were talking about pulling out, had happened much earlier. Because you see, when you have a project of this nature, you go fronting it to financiers, insurers, and all that. You will have those on board and those off board, and you have others on board. And so some of that information you were seeing in the course of last year was actually outdated. Yes, they were on board one time, and now maybe not on board. That doesn't mean that others are not on board. And I think for us, the assurance we have, you have had Total and Sinok and government of Uganda say severally that we are committed to developing and building this, and we are still committed to first oil in 2025. So that's what we take.
Okay, so I recently saw the president, the head of state, signing a memorandum with an American firm of $4.5 billion. Yeah, $4.5 billion for the oil refinery.
Okay.
Yes, so I'd like to know, should this give us more hope in regards to the management of resources?
That should give us hope in attaining the final investment decision for the refinery. Because if you remember, the one attained last year was for Tilenga, Kingfisher, and the pipeline. Now, the refinery hadn't yet got, and we have not yet reached financial investment decision of the refinery, and that's something we are looking at in this year. So that should give us hope on attaining the financial investment decision for the refinery, which will kickstart the refinery work to also move in high gear, because when you have the crude come out and some put through the pipeline, then the balance would be taken to the refinery, 40,000.
Yeah. Now that reminds me of when we had a fuel crisis, and then they were asking and they were tabling the PS of Ministry of Energy about a reserve, the ginger reserve, and then I recently saw in tabloids that we have regained it. So should that, of course, give us safety, or is it true you have actually gained it?
Yes. On 22nd December last year, we took over full operatorship and management. See, 5 years ago in 2017, when the ginger storage terminal was handed to UNOC, we took on a joint venture partner who had the skill and the financial muscle to manage it with us. Now, 5 years down the line, we have built capacity, we have the resources, especially built capacity to manage it on our own. And yes, December last year, 22nd, we've taken over full operatorship and management, which should comfort, yes, Ugandans, because now we are going to manage it. We've got the skill and the capacity has been built over 5 years, and so we are running it, yes. So what that means, because it's one of the key mandates we have as UNOC, apart from us having a storage terminal where we can conduct bulk trading and make some money, the other key thing is when you manage a storage terminal, we ensure it's maintained and has enough fuel reserves, strategic reserves. Okay, so you develop it and maintain it and operate it, and at any one time you have enough strategic reserves to buffer the country against shocks, crises, and that kind of thing. So yes, it's a good thing for us, as you know, in terms of capacity. From there, we will learn how to manage a bigger storage terminal coming in future, the Kampala storage terminal one. But this is very good knowledge practice, and it's good for the country in terms of ensuring we have security of supply.
When do we expect the drilling to begin? I recently saw that one has come and another one is yet to be expected, I think last year.
The building of...
The
drilling.
The drilling rigs.
Yes, there's even a function, I think, in the drilling...
The one the president is meant to officiate?
Okay. Yeah, so all that is on course. I'm yet to get because you see when they build it, then drilling begins. So the hype you saw was that the drill has come from Mombasa, therefore then it is built. Once you've built it, you start drilling. And all that is in preparation for 2025. So because when you start drilling, then you make sure that you have the crude drilled out, and by 2025, first oil.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great anticipations there. Should we really hope that we shall get this oil out by 2025?
It's not even hoping. It is on the radar for achievement.
Okay.
Yes, on the Gantt chart, 2025, everyone knows is first oil. Yeah.
I want to ask a very tricky question. If you have our own oil, do you think our fuel prices are going to go down? What mechanism are you going to use? Because I've asked some person before and they have said, no, if we sell it at this type, at this rate, now it's going to attract investors and they will come and trade here since that the fuel is cheap. But this is what Ugandans need. This is the liberation they've been longing for all this time. So what is your opinion about that?
What I can tell you, which is a fact, the pump price you experience to date currently is a factor of many things. The key cost, the biggest cost of your pump price is logistics. The fact that this fuel is imported, it gets to the port and is transported by road all the way here. So that cost of transportation is actually very huge. If I was to just even take you to just general imports of people who are in trading, they'll tell you they buy the stuff cheaply. But the cost to transport things into a land-linked country is what raises unit prices. The same applies to the pump price. Now, if you have your fuel here refined at Kabale, you've already gotten rid of the logistical cost, which is the bulk of the pump price. There is no reason why that price will remain high. So for that very reason, we look forward to having our own oil crude refined here so that we cut out the bulk of that pump price, logistical price. And yes, you can look forward to our fuel.
I'm very hopeful. Maybe as we sum up this conversation, Sarah, I would like us to know what we should anticipate this year in regards to oil and gas industry. I've seen the exploration from way back 2021. Now I know we're in the development phase, but how far? What should we expect with the development phase?
Okay. Now, first of all, for us in the industry, we are, on our toes because financial investment decision for a refinery is very important. We need to refine our own oil, and that's what we are looking forward to in this year. That's one. Wow. But two, progress in the Albertine is good. It's good progress. You have talked about the drilling, whatever, launch and all that. So that is going very well. The drilling should be able to start, while the compensation aspect of
that is very important.
The compensation aspect is also being concluded along the pipeline route, so that pipeline construction can also commence. So those are key things in terms of the refinery FID, completion of the compensation for the pipeline route, and also the drilling. And I mean, it can't get better than that. There's nice things to look forward to.
Sarah's conversation leaves you very optimistic about what we should hope for in regards to the oil and gas industry. Most of the Ugandans are hoping for a liberation in regards to pump prices, or that is to say fuel prices. This is the end of Coffee Court, and my name is Ronah Nahabwe. Of course, with a project of such magnitude, you should be expectant, optimistic of such a big hope, especially in the areas where such a project is going to take place, that is Hoima. That great conversation will lead us to the end of business today. As always, thank you for the pleasure of your company. My name is Ronah Nahabwe with Winnie Wiyinza Nakawuchenda Sign Language. I would like to indulge you to please watch a stream of this at Smart 24 TV on our YouTube channel. And follow us on other social media platforms for more details in regards to business. Good night.